There's a big question in life. And that question itself is called life. See, growing up, most people told me that life is a series of events whereby you are the character and the role you play reflects at the end game of your life. But then, I do not disagree, yet I do not totally agree to it. Here's why. If you were a character in this series, it means there will be an editor, probably a playwright, or a publisher. And it means the narrator himself is the one that coordinates all the actions that happens in this series or these events. That means events happening in your life today could be an effect of someone narrating it, right? But instead, we don't choose to lose loved ones. We don't choose to go broke, but we end up either ways because the big question is life. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give you a tour into my kitchen called Life, where I present a cookbook that says, cook and don't microwave your life. Now, I would like us to actually take a good look at this picture. This is me growing up in Seychelles with my little sister at the children's house. And growing up, my parents made sure they had cooked me well, in terms that the preparation stage on how to present me to the world was a stage whereby they had taken their time to chop the onions if they had to, chop the carrots properly, make sure if I needed to be grilled, I was grilled as well. And looking at this picture, the girl raising her thumb, that is me. The only dark student in the class. The only African student in the class. Of course, I was labeled. Some people asked me, why are you so dark? You know, we'd go for swimming and they would take marbles and start scratching my body and they would act as if I don't bathe well. But the truth of the fact was, black was my color. With the same spirit, I knew being black in class had made me a standing out student and an individual. And I knew that my parents took time to cook me, and they told me that despite what they say about your blackness, stand out. So in this photo, I said, no, let these white people sit. The black one will stand out. Then I found a calling. Since I knew I had to stand out, I didn't want it to end in classroom. I said, oh boy, let me take it somewhere big. Because these little kids cannot understand the language I speak, let me go to elder people who can understand the language I speak. So I knew I had the power of speech. I became a public speaker. Here is me at a very young age, excuse the bald head. And I was addressing to thousands of people. And I was telling them about the importance of love and showing love to their children. As you can see in the front row, these people are actually clapping their hands to show that they appreciated the message I gave. My parents took time to cook me well because they knew I would have to associate with other people in doing household chores together with community chores. And yes, a beautiful girl came out of that cooking. I cooked my way into high school, graduated. I even formed a play club where I wrote my own plays, relating or rationalizing with the African context, reminding the youth that wherever you are in the world, don't forget your origin. Being cooked wasn't easy. And when the time came, my parents had to hand over the cookbook to me. And they told me, now it's your time to go and cook yourself and serve yourself as a palatable dish to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, as we proceed in this journey in my kitchen called Life, I found cooking being hard. I'm not even shocked or surprised because I saw a YouTube video where some famous artists like Beyonce actually admitted on shows that they can't cook because cooking is not easy. Preparing the ingredients for a dish is not easy. I microwaved because I knew cooking was tough. I enrolled in the University of Dar es Salaam by the age of 19 as a law student. Because everybody was microwaving their life, I felt like cooking would make me an odd one out and not a person who would stand out. So I got pregnant with twins. I toiled those months being labeled alone. People actually didn't want to associate with me. My own classmates would write posters and text in groups that I was in to speak the despicable about me. But I said no, because I microwaved. I am now going to cook for myself and cook for these two twins in my womb. To all glory to the Creator, I gave birth. A successful one. But my children died a horrible death in my arms, bleeding from the mouth and the nose. I was not prepared to cook. The book was handed over to me while I was not ready. People didn't take time to be patient with me and tell me how motherhood is. Nobody attended my funeral. I laid them to rest on my own. But yet, I knew I had lost purpose. And now I had to find purpose. So then I said, no. If I microwaved my life before, I need to gather up all hope and courage. And after that, I started preparing my ingredients. I knew I could speak, so I started preparing my speeches. I knew I could sing, so I started singing. I knew I could help other mothers going through tough time, and I helped them. And in that process, I started cooking. As hard as it was, I referred back to my life before all this happened, and I came across the article that was written by Eric Shigongo, who is the CEO of Global Publishers, together with an author and a public speaker in Africa and in the world. And in this article back in 2014, he wrote, "Dorice, be blessed. You have a bright future. See you at the top." When he was handing over this paper, he told me, "Years to come, I'll step into your office to ask you for help. Please make sure you laminate this." And from 2014 till to date, I have held this paper laminated on my wall, reminding myself that I'm heading to the top. I then took an initiative. I enrolled in Mzumbe University in Buea campus. And I said, oh boy, I'm doing it again. I'm going to be a law student. People around me were amazed. They were shocked. And they said, law again? That means pregnancy again. That means dead children again. And they would say it on my face. And on enrolling into the university during the orientation week, one of the helpers who were assigning us said it out loud in front of all the first-year students. See, they brought us another problem. So when they brought the university debates and public speaking competition, I enrolled to be a participant because I wanted to show them I am a blessing, not a problem. I didn't know I was still cooking because I was neither cooking nor microwaving. I was just acting and living life. And in the process, I started debating and public speaking. Under the wings of TCRO, an organization that actually helped me realize and reach the heights of public speaking and debating, I soar as an eagle. And this only did not help me to find healing. It helped me find recognition of who I was. The transition from being a girl to a woman was a tough phase, and I had to cook on my own. Ladies and gentlemen, in this kitchen, you have to know, once you cook, nobody will help you wash your dishes. They will come for your dinner parties, they will eat your food, but nobody will wash them with you or for you. You have to be prepared to wash those dishes alone. And when I say washing dishes, I mean the words that come once you've regained your power and elevated yourself to new heights. The words that come along. Oh, you remember, she's the girl who got pregnant and had to drop out of school. Oh, you remember, she's the one who aborted. God forbid I didn't. But when I found purpose and I was cooking, I came back to my senses and I asked myself a question that I'm asking you today. If you could write a note to your younger self, what would you say in 2 words? Just 2 words. For those who have microwaved their lives here today, there is hope. Cooking is not easy. Some people will be selfish enough not to give you the right recipe. But if you fight your way to cook your own life, there is a possibility that the dish will come out well prepared. For those who are cooking children, be gentle and patient. Cooking is not a one-time thing. You have to do it over and over and over until you get it right. Don't give up on people who are still learning how to cook their own lives simply because your life is a served dish in a good plate. And even if you've microwaved and life is hitting you down, remember this: life has to go on. Beyond the words that people would say, beyond the mistakes that would keep on reminding you of where you came, life has to go on. And as we end this tour into my kitchen called life, I'm leaving you with a good recipe book. Cook your life and don't microwave. Thank you.